Alright, budget magic time. Playing some mono white blink in modern. And alright. I mean, we got a wall of omens that we can blink, which is reasonable. So planes go. Looks like Skred, planes, and wall of omens. Draws us a card. Ooh, Fiend Hunter. Yup. Pass turn. Another snow-covered mountain for our opponent, and passes. Well, let's planes and just Apocryphite. I kind of want to be able to Flicker Wisp with the ability to Cloud Shift Flicker Wisp. So pass the turn. So playing Apocryphite here means if our opponent has like Anger, we could blink Apocryphite, make it a 4/4, etc. Eternal Scourge, sure. Well, let's play a planes, Flicker Wisp, and I think we're just going to flicker the Wall of Omens. Even though it would make Apocryphite big, I'd rather just start generating some card advantage here. Pass the turn. Draw another planes. Fiend Hunter. The epitome of a no-bow, or non-bow, with Eternal Scourge. Opponent can cast it from exile. Fiend Hunter exiles, so just makes our opponent cast it again, essentially. Anger of the Gods. Alright, so how do we want to do this? We flicker, Flicker Wisp, flicker... Yeah, alright, so let's Cloud Shift our Flicker Wisp. And then blink Eternal Score, or blink Apocryphite. We lose our Flicker Wisp. And opponent, ooh, has a Lightning Bolt as well. Well, the only good news is we get a 4/4. So let's start getting in with Apocryphite. Play a planes and pass the turn, I guess. Opponent gets back Eternal Scourge. Well, Ghost Quarter. And let's just Fiend Hunter. Put that back into exile. Get in with Apocryphite. Because we can always blink our Fiend Hunter now. I don't think we're going to Flicker Wisp yet. Apocryphite is kind of like the original Eternal Scourge. Comes back in for free. Takes a lot longer, but it doesn't cost mana. Opponent gets it back again. Well, let's Flicker Wisp. Target the Eternal Scourge. Oh, keep attacking. Hit our opponent down to 7. And pass the turn. Technically, we're representing lethal. I don't expect it to work. Our opponent's got to have something, but... Anger of the Gods. Yep. And passes. Well, let's get in with Apocryphite. Put our opponent to 3. Play Apocryphite. Flicker Wisp. Flicker Apocryphite. And Thraben Inspector. So we're going to have a bunch of lethal threats. A Skred doesn't beat us. Lightning Bolt doesn't beat us. Anger doesn't beat us. So I have a hard time imagining our opponent being able to win from this position. They somehow have to... They would have to, like, Anger plus double Skred. Alright, PNLR. That keeps our opponent alive, but also just makes them chump a lot. And that's assuming we don't draw into anything. So let's crack our clue. Blades Placer. Alright, so go to combat. Let's just attack with both Apocryphites. Pia is a good stabilization card. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough here. Opponent double chumps. And then we'll follow up with Wall of Omens. Alright, opponent gets rid of an Apocryphite. We draw an Apocryphite. I don't think we want to play it yet. Let's just pass. We have a pretty lethal board. Still, Anger doesn't do it. Our opponent didn't block with PN Karen, so it makes me think they don't have another PN Karen. Anger just gets Flicker Wisp and Thraben Inspector, and it kills PN Karen. So then we win with Apocryphite. So they're back to needing, like, Anger plus Bolt or something, and they already used some of that stuff. Alright, Stormbreath Dragon. Well, if we draw a Dismember, we win. Does Apocryphite come? Oh, no. Not yet. Another Ghost Quarter. So let's just get in with Apocryphite. Opponent blocks with PN Karen Nalar. Let's play Ghost Quarter and pass the turn. We still have our opponent way on the back foot. Oh, alright, another Pian and Carinalar, keeping our opponent in this game. Sort of. No attacks. Dismember would still be awesome. A Chroma. Well, let's attack with Apocryphite. Opponent found a Skred. Alright, gets exiled. We do get one back next turn. Then we'll play a Blade Splicer. At this point, we aren't going to be able to play around another Anger. So we just should go wide, I think. Our opponent has used 2 Angers, though. Another land for our opponent. Plus, we want to minimize the damage we take when our opponent monstrouses the Storm Breath. Which is kind of annoying. We don't have an answer for that without drawing a Dismember. On the other hand, we might be able to win this coming turn. Opponent has a Koth. Takes it down. 6 mana. So this lets them monstrous Storm Breath if that's their goal. That does not beat us, though. Gets back Eternal Scourge. And another one. Alright, our opponent is staying in this game. No attacks. So Apocryphite takes down. Apocryphite comes back. Dismember or Resto, I think, are our best draws. Or Plains. Well, I guess all we can really attack with is Apocryphite? That feels pretty bad. Opponent blocks with Pian Karen. Oh my god. Does that mean they have another Pian Karen in hand? Let's play a face-down creature. Play a Plains. Pass the turn. There's the 7th mana. 1 card in our opponent's hand, and it is another Pian Carinalar. Our opponent is staying alive, just barely. And we have not drawn anything in a while. Alright, opponent turns on their mountain. And passes. Apocryphite ticking down. Oh, deck, really? Well, we play a Plains. We might start ghost quartering ourselves here. Let's attack with Apocryphite. Opponent jumps with a Thopter. Probably sacks the Thopter, kills something of ours. Kills a Flicker Wisp. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. Untaps a mountain. Koth up to 3. Alright, we just gotta stop drawing lands. Apocryphite comes down. Deck! Oh my goodness. That is a lot of turns in a row that we have drawn lands, which is very, very bad. Opponent's gonna monstrous a Storm Breath, I assume. Hit us for 2. We lose an Apocryphite. And now we don't have a good way of dealing with Storm Breath, since it has pro-white. Opponent draws another land. We have just drawn way too many lands, and now we're getting to the point where we're going to be in danger of losing to Koth. Opponent passes. Whoa! Oh my lord almighty. Okay. Well, I guess we just passed the turn. I mean, we have drawn lands so many turns in a row. That's pretty frustrating, to just draw nothing for so long. And once our opponent ultimates Koth, the game ends. Can we draw another land? Keep the streak alive. Oh, it's an Apocryphite. Alright. Well, our deck very much did not cooperate there. That is just a lot of turns of drawing nothing. That was disappointing. Well, you can bring in Oblivion Ring. Bring in a Pithing Needle. I guess we can bring in Blessed Alliance over Condemn. Go down. 1 Blade Splicer gets kind of wrecked by Anger, also a Fiend Hunter, and maybe 1 Dismember. Try it like that. That was super disappointing. Alright, I mean, 2 lands, not a great hand by any means. If we draw lands, it can be okay. Apocryphite, make it a 4/4 is good. Opponent has Relic of Progenitus. Not very relevant in this matchup. Well, we Thraben Inspector. And Ghost Quarter. We gotta make sure we hit our land drops. Otherwise, playing Apocryphite really doesn't do much of anything. Mountain for our opponent. And going to pass. We do not get a land, so let's sack our clue. I swear we are cursed. Wow. We had a lot of turns last game where if we had drawn anything, we would have won. And now we have the opposite problem, where last game we just epically flooded out. This game, we are a turn away from discarding, well, not really. We can play Apocryphites, but we are very far behind because we are not drawing anything. Opponent plays another Relic of Progenitus, still not relevant. Exiles our Thraben Inspector, also not relevant. Well, there's a land. I guess that's a start. Let's Blade Splicer. See if our opponent has the anger. We do not have a way to deal with Storm Breath here. Opponent's going to Skred the token. Opponent is down to 3 cards in hand. Plays a Pia and Karen Nalar. Sure. Now, there's the Dismember for Storm Breath. So let's Flicker Wisp. Flicker Blade Splicer. The plan of killing our golems with targeted removal does not seem like a great one. Get back Blade Splicer, get back the golem. Opponent cracks Relic to draw a card, plays a land, and passes. We do not get a land. So let's get in with our golem. Opponent blocks with the Thopter. What are they going to try to kill? Flicker Wisp? Well, let's Cloud Shift Flicker Wisp. Flicker Blade Splicer. We're putting our opponent in a position where they're going to have an anger pretty soon, which kind of makes me not want to play these Apocryphites. Yeah, let's just pass. I don't think we want to play more into anger here. Opponent cracks Relic. Plays a Mountain. Plays another Relic. Opponent's hand would have been great against Dredge. Not super great against us. I mean, they're staying in the game. Our opponent has anger. Well, we're going to take it, force them to have the anger, play the anger. Down to 19. There's the anger, wipes everything away. Hopefully we draw land here. We do not. Well, we get a Cloud Shift is not the worst. So Apocryphite, pass the turn. We can leave up Cloud Shift to make it a 4/4. Our opponent's down to 2 cards, and this game, unlike last game, we have their big plays covered. Batterskull, well, we're probably going to have to spend our O-Ring on that. Alright. There's a land. Land is good. So 1, 2, 3, Oblivion Ring. Get rid of the Batterskull. Get in 4/1 with Apocryphite. And now that we got our 4th land, we actually have Resto available, which is a really good way to blink Apocryphite compared to Cloud Shift. Being able to like Resto and then Cloud Shift Resto, that combo is pretty good. Well, our opponent's down to their last relic. They just keep relicking into relics. Sax Mindstone. Our opponent does not seem to have much action. Although, since we spent our O-Ring, we don't have a clean answer to a Planeswalker now. That's an Acroma. Ooh, goodness. Well, let's get in with Apocryphite. And I think we just want to pass the turn for now and Resto. Opponent Magma Jets our face to do some scrying. So Storm Breath is covered. Planeswalker, I guess Planeswalker is somewhat covered here. Opponent leaves 1 on top, cracks Relic, because we can just beat it down with creatures. Eternal Scourge, yup. Well, let's Resto. Blink Apocryphite. Comes back as a 4/4. Another Acroma. Well, let's attack with both. Opponent's going to block. Cast our Morph, face down, and pass the turn. This board state is not very worried about anger. There's anger. Well, let's Cloud Shift. I guess double anger would be bad. Alright, anger plus bolt. Opponent's down to 1 card. Well, 2 cards to kill a Chroma is not too scary. We draw planes. Well, let's get in with both. Hit our opponent for 7. Play a planes. And then I think we just want to Acroma, Apocryphite. So now our opponent has to deal with one of our big Apocryphite or Resto. Coth of the Hammer does not do it. And our opponent's out of cards? Oh, well, yeah. That should be game then. Our opponent might have had to... Well, I guess they can't really hit anything with Scrying Sheets. Opponent gets in for 4. We take it. Down to 13. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. Well, that went better. Seems like this matchup is mostly about dealing with our opponent's few big threats and also finding ways to play around anger. Those are the key pieces of this matchup. Do you have anything else that's good against anger? Not really. Let's run it back. Yeah, we'll keep this. This hand is actually not horrible. Only 2 lands, but we do have a Wall of Omens. And Wall of Omens is not the easiest card for our opponent to deal with. Opponent passes. Well, planes go. Hopefully Wall of Omens finds us lands. If worst case, we can start flickering Wall of Omens and blinking it. Opponent's just going to cycle their relic right away. Alright, planes, and let's lead on Wall of Omens. Alright, another land, that's good. This way we can protect our Apocryphite with Cloud Shift, which is pretty relevant to get out of anger range. Mind Stone for our opponent, and Pyrite Spellbomb. Well, planes, Apocryphite, pass the turn. We could also just go for a quick Achroma, depending on what happens. Anger the Gods, alright. Cloud Shift, Apocryphite. Cloud Shift has been super insane in this deck. Opponent passes. We get a Flicker Wisp. So play the planes, get in with Apocryphite, put our opponent to 16. I've been really impressed with this deck, honestly. 1, 2, 3, Flicker Wisp, Flicker Wall of Omens, draw another card. At the end of our turn. Wall of Omens comes back, and another Wall of Omens. That's fine. Cloud Shift Apocryphite is sneaky good. And it's even better when we do it with Flicker Wisps and so forth. Opponent cycles their Spellbomb. Opponent is having some land troubles this game. Luckily, we are not. So let's play Ghost Quarter. Get in with both. Opponent bolts our Flicker Wisp. Sure. Let's play Wall of Omens, draw a card. Ooh, Resto? Let's just Flicker Wisp a Wall of Omens. Keep drawing cards. We generate a ton of card advantage, too, for a mono-white deck. Thraben Inspector. Another card draw. A little slow, but still card draw. Oh, our opponent misses their land drop again. We get an Achroma, so play Ghost Quarter. Get in with Apocryphite and Flicker Wisp. Opponent bolts Flicker Wisp. I guess we could have saved it with Resto. I don't even know if that's really necessary here. Play Thraben Inspector. It probably was still worth it to save Flicker Wisp. Eternal Scourge for our opponent. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Resto, blink a Wall of Omens. Draw a card. Another planes. Well, we can't win right here because we can't. Oh, we can. Untap 2 target creatures. Man, that exiles the Eternal Scourge. And lets us swing for lethal. the hidden removal mode of untapping 2 target creatures. Sweet. Well, that was a pretty close match. Our opponent got stuck on lands the last game, but it was a pretty good match overall.